Remember Windows Phone? Yeah, me neither. It was Microsoft's ambitious attempt to break into the smartphone market, a space already dominated by giants like Apple and Google. Despite their best efforts, the Windows Phone never quite caught on with consumers. It's okay, we'll wait while you Google it. Go ahead, take your time. You might find some nostalgic articles or old reviews praising its unique tile interface and integration with Windows PCs. Back already? Great, let's get into it. So, what went wrong? How did a company with such a stronghold in the software industry fail so spectacularly in the mobile arena? You'd think a company like Microsoft, known for its software dominance, could make a dent in the smartphone market. They had the resources, the talent, and the brand recognition. But sometimes, even the biggest players can miss the mark. They threw their hat in the ring, but it was more like a sad, soggy hat by the time they were done. The Windows Phone struggled with a lack of apps, poor marketing, and stiff competition. This is the story of how Microsoft took a swing at the mobile world and completely whiffed. Despite their innovative ideas, they couldn't convince enough people to switch from their beloved iPhones and Android devices. Now you might be thinking, John, why are we talking about ancient history? Why dig up the past when the tech world is always moving forward? Isn't this a bit like dissecting the mating rituals of the dodo bird? First off, rude. But more importantly, there's a lot to learn from these past missteps. Second, understanding Microsoft's failure is more relevant than ever. In a world where new tech products are launched almost daily, knowing why some succeed and others fail can provide valuable insights. The tech landscape is littered with the corpses of failed products, and learning from those mistakes is crucial. It helps companies innovate better and avoid the pitfalls that others have fallen into. Plus, it's fun to poke fun at tech giants, isn't it? There's a certain satisfaction in seeing that even the most powerful companies can stumble. So, let's dive deeper into the rise and fall of the Windows Phone and see what lessons we can glean from this fascinating chapter in tech history. In the beginning, Windows Phone had some genuinely fresh ideas. Launched in 2010, it promised a break from the monotony of iPhone and Android. Instead of rows of static icons, it boasted live tiles that dynamically updated with information. Imagine your calendar app actually showing you your schedule without having to open it. Pretty neat, right? It also had this clean, minimalist design that was like a breath of fresh air compared to the cluttered interfaces of its competitors. Microsoft was aiming for a more intuitive, visually appealing experience, and for a hot minute, it looked like they might actually pull it off. But as we all know, looking good is only half the battle in the cutthroat world of smartphones. And for a while, people were genuinely excited about Windows Phone. Tech reviewers, notorious for their cynical hearts, were charmed by its unique approach. The interface was praised for its originality, and the hardware, particularly the Nokia Lumia phones, was sleek and well-built. People were starting to believe that Microsoft might actually have a fighting chance. However, there was this tiny little problem lurking in the shadows. You see, a smartphone without apps is like it's like a phone without a phone. And the app gap, as it became known, would soon become the gaping maw that swallowed Windows Phone whole. Here's the thing about smartphone ecosystems. They're like high school cafeterias. You have your cliques, your popular kids, and then those who are just trying to find a place to fit in. It's a microcosm of society, really. You've got your cool kids table, iOS and Android, where everyone wants to sit. These are the platforms that have the most users, the most apps, and the most attention from developers. And then you've got, the table where people go to eat glue. It's the table no one wants to be at, the one that's often overlooked and forgotten. Unfortunately for Microsoft, Windows Phone was the glue table. Despite their efforts, they just couldn't get the traction they needed. Developers, the popular kids of the tech world, saw little incentive to create apps for a platform with a minuscule user base. They wanted to be where the action was, where they could make the most impact and, of course, the most money. Why bother catering to a tiny sliver of the market when you could be raking in the dough on iOS and Android? It was a no-brainer for them. This lack of apps created a vicious cycle. Without a robust app ecosystem, users were hesitant to adopt the platform. Users were hesitant to adopt a platform with limited app selection, fearing they'd miss out on the latest and greatest apps and services. This, in turn, further discouraged developers from investing in it. Why spend time and resources on a platform that wasn't gaining any traction? It was a classic chicken or the egg scenario. Developers needed users to justify their investment, but users needed apps to justify adopting the platform. and Microsoft ended up with neither chicken nor egg. They were left in a lurch, unable to break the cycle. Just a whole lot of metaphorical salmonella. It was a tough lesson in the importance of ecosystem and network effects in the tech world. Section 5. A late start and a big bet. Now you might be wondering why Microsoft didn't see this coming. The answer, like most things in the corporate world, is a heady cocktail of arrogance and bad timing. Microsoft, drunk on its desktop dominance, waltzed into the smartphone game fashionably late. By the time Windows Phone debuted, iPhone and Android had already carved up the market like a Thanksgiving turkey. To make matters worse, they made some questionable decisions. In 2014, they bought Nokia's struggling mobile division for a cool $7.2 billion. It was a bold move, a desperate attempt to gain a foothold in the hardware market. But it turned out to be about as effective as using a $100 bill to light a cigar. Expensive and ultimately pointless. Section 6. A name game no one wins. Remember that branding confusion I mentioned earlier? Yeah, buckle up. Microsoft's naming conventions were more convoluted than a Christopher Nolan film. Was it Windows Phone, Windows Mobile, Windows 10 Mobile? Even their own mothers probably couldn't keep track. This constant rebranding created a sense of instability and confusion among consumers. Imagine walking into a store and asking for a Windows Phone, only to be met with blank stares. You'd probably just buy an iPhone and call it a day. Section 7. Even Microsoft didn't seem to care. But perhaps the most damning indictment of Windows Phone was Microsoft's own lukewarm support. Despite pouring billions into development and acquisitions, the company never seemed fully committed to its mobile platform. Key Microsoft apps were often slow to arrive or lacking in features compared to their iOS and Android counterparts. It was like Microsoft brought a sad, deflated balloon to a party and then spent the entire time ignoring it in the corner. This lack of support sent a clear message to both consumers and developers. Even Microsoft doesn't believe in this thing. Section 8. The final whistle blows. In the end, Windows Phone limped along for a few years before being mercifully put out of its misery in 2017. The official cause of death? Complications from a chronic case of nobody cares. It was a sad end for a platform that once held so much promise, but hey, at least we'll always have the memories, or maybe not. Section 9. Lessons from a fallen phone. So what can we learn from the cautionary tale of Windows Phone? It's a story filled with ambition, innovation, and ultimately, a humbling downfall. The rise and fall of Windows Phone is a textbook example of how even the most promising ventures can falter if key elements are overlooked. Well, for starters, timing is everything in the tech world. Launching a product at the right moment can make or break its success. Windows Phone entered the market when iOS and Android had already established a strong foothold. The timing was off, and catching up proved to be an insurmountable challenge. Even a giant like Microsoft can't just waltz into an established market and expect to dominate. The tech landscape is fiercely competitive, and brand loyalty runs deep. Microsoft underestimated the loyalty of Apple and Android users, thinking their brand power alone would be enough to sway consumers. Secondly, a robust app ecosystem is non-negotiable. Apps are the lifeblood of any smartphone platform. Without a wide array of apps, users find little reason to switch from their current devices. Windows Phone struggled to attract developers, resulting in a sparse app store that couldn't compete with its rivals. You can have the most innovative, user-friendly platform in the world, but without apps, you're just a very expensive paperweight. The user experience is heavily dependent on the availability and quality of apps, and this is where Windows Phone fell short. But without apps, you're just a very expensive paperweight. Users quickly grew frustrated with the lack of essential apps, leading to a decline in user satisfaction and ultimately, market share. Perhaps the most important lesson is that even tech giants can make colossal blunders. Microsoft's missteps with Windows Phone serve as a stark reminder that no company is infallible. The tech industry is littered with the remains of failed products from even the most reputable companies. It's a reminder that success is not guaranteed, and even the mightiest can fall. The fall of Windows Phone is a testament to the fact that past success does not ensure future triumphs. Companies must continuously innovate and adapt to stay relevant, and even the mightiest can fall. The tech world is unforgiving, and one misstep can lead to a rapid decline. The fall of Windows Phone was swift and brutal, serving as a cautionary tale for other tech companies. So, the next time you see a new phone launch, Remember the lessons from Windows Phone. It's not just about having a great product, it's about timing, ecosystem, and understanding the market. The ghost of Windows Phone should serve as a reminder to all tech enthusiasts and companies alike. Remember the ghost of Windows Phone. It haunts the tech world as a symbol of what can go wrong when critical factors are ignored. The story of Windows Phone is a lesson in humility and the importance of strategic planning. It serves as a stark reminder that in the tech world, it's not enough to be good. You have to be exceptional in every aspect, from product design to market strategy. The competition is relentless, and only the best survive. It's not enough to be good. You have to be innovative, adaptable, and always one step ahead of the competition. The tech world waits for no one, and complacency can be fatal. You have to be lucky, you have to be timely, and most importantly, you have to convince people that you actually give a damn. Consumers are savvy, and they can tell when a company is genuinely invested in their experience. You have to be timely, and you have to be prepared to seize opportunities as they arise. Timing can be the difference between success and failure in the fast-paced tech industry, and most importantly, you have to convince people that you actually give a damn. In the end, it's the users who decide the fate of a product. Their trust and satisfaction are paramount, and earning that requires genuine effort